Yo, this is the Red Room Podcast. This is now season 2, episode 3.
You got it right again.
Yo, we're good. I'm getting there, by the way. This has been like 4 episodes without getting it wrong.
Yep.
So I'm feeling good.
Especially with the new season, I thought you would at least get something wrong.
It's easy, man. We start from 1 again. It's when you start getting in the higher figures that I start getting a bit confused.
A lot to live up to this time after the last show.
Yeah, the last one, the Prospect one, people are really liking it.
But
And the
we've got a
different
good
venue
guest.
as well. We've got a very good guest. This is one of the guests who's got a story to tell, man. That like I'm very interested in a story that
Pretty sure you came up on the show before.
I think you have been mentioned. Maybe once or twice.
Everyone you've had, I've had direct contact.
You've had input on all of them. Like if you've been involved somehow.
Yeah.
We've got Neil from State of Mind.
Cheers, come through.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem.
State of Mind. Like,
I've got to say this one's on you.
this one's on me.
Because the history as well.
Yeah. Like me and Neil go back.
Mm-hmm.
I think even from like before anything to do with music or fashion, like even like working, we just almost crossed paths. Like at Foot Locker, literally one of our first jobs. I think either I just left and you started, or
I just left.
You just left and I started. Like, I basically was
I'm
his
pretty
replacement.
sure you got my job.
I was like straight in the door as his replacement. And that Foot Locker's a curse, man. Like the amount of money I've spent on shoes since I took that job is like unbelievable.
Nah, if it hadn't happened, then I probably wouldn't be here.
Yeah, that's
Blame
true.
Foot Locker for everything.
But yeah, man. So State of Mind. We'll start from the beginning at the store. I mean, maybe for you it started well before the store, but the store is the beginning for me.
Yeah.
Tell us. I mean, what was it?
Opened in 2009. Small boutique store.
Yeah.
Trying to emulate what I'd been to America, like specifically in New York, like all these sort of small stores that were like in America and New York, they're very like unaccessible kind of things.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean, like closed doors, push an alarm.
Yep.
I mean, bouncer let you in, or the staff decide if you can come in or not. Didn't want to have that vibe at all.
Yeah.
Wanted to be a lot more casual, but wanted to have the same aesthetic.
Yep.
So had everything, just one of each size out, or one of each product, running from just a size small. Trying to like not ram it. I mean, like too many shops I felt were just like crammed full of stuff, and you end up missing loads of things.
Yeah.
So I just tried to have it so like all the white t-shirts were grouped together, all black t-shirts grouped together, and then it was all brands that I liked that you couldn't get anywhere else. So I was trying to get brands that you couldn't either get in Scotland, you couldn't get in Edinburgh, or you couldn't get in the UK. So from like opening, we were like had Diamond Supply from Los Angeles, like prior to it becoming like this huge thing, like Justin Bieber and Rick Ross, and it wasn't like that at that point. It was still like 2009. It was like a skater owned brand. It still is. Nick Tertiary owns it. Like skater from, I mean, goes way back. Like his lineage is like way back.
Yeah.
So started off with like brands like that and Crooks and Castles. That was like this is
you were on that early as well.
Yeah, like. But what the brand became was probably too big for what I could like offer it, if that makes sense. I was getting all these things in small quantities, not knowing if they'd sell or not because no one else had them. But then supply and demand, like I literally would get to the point that if something sold out really quick, then I just couldn't get hold of it. So it was like a blessing and a curse because you'd sell loads of one unit. Because Drake wore it and like I'm on one video with Khaled.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like just a really random white t-shirt.
Yeah.
Crooks and Castles one the next day.
She's just blowing up.
Yeah. You can't get anywhere.
Yeah.
And I'd only have maybe like 5 of them. Like 5 small 5. You mean so you'd sell out super quick in it. But because people didn't have it anymore.
Yeah.
So where was your base? Where was that?
Yeah, St Mary Street, just off the Royal Mile.
Oh, nice.
So the shop I had originally was just up from like the original cruise shop, which we moved to George Street. So the shop that I had was sort of like the roots were like Avalanche. Was a music shop just moved over the road that was on the Grass Market. Is it Avalanche maybe? I can't.
I think Avalanche was Coburn Street.
I'm trying to remember. There's this record shop in the Grass Market. I mean, it's always sort of like.
I don't know what I pretend to get this right and show my age, Like I was kind of.
Let's go for it. What are you thinking?
I I'm going to say Avalanche.
Oh yeah, you're just gonna take a jump on it.
Yeah,
but
cool.
it was like the street had like loads of different sort of boutique shops. Like the woman next door to me was making like crazy one-off dresses.
Yeah.
And then next door to me I had a Russian doll shop.
Yeah, I remember that Russian doll place. Yeah, like he's always just like in there.
Like the people that owned it were just like on the next level of like,
it was a cool spot, man. It was like the perfect place for it as well.
It was just at the time I just wanted to be somewhere that was like not completely off the beaten track, but like a destination shop. Like all these shops I liked in New York, like A-Life.
You have to physically go there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And you go get the subway, then walk 20 minutes.
Yeah.
To find the shop, and there's nothing remotely like it on that street. It's all.
Yeah. You were the same. So you were like what 5-10 minute walk from Waverley as well. So it wasn't like it was that.
Like originally, I wanted somewhere like Hanover Street or like Coburn Street or somewhere like that, but I decided in the end it was better to just like go off and do more. You mean like not try and like get footfall from other shops, if that makes sense, like Route 1 or like anywhere like that. I wanted to try and like stand out. People
are basically coming to see you, you know what I mean? They're not. I understand what you mean.
It's just like people in Edinburgh, like I wouldn't say like fickle shoppers, but people don't necessarily like go around every single shop. Like they've got like one or two shops they go to and that's it. Like they won't shop around as such.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So people would like come to you like one Saturday to get their t-shirt for like Tipsy on a Sunday night, but then the next week, you mean it'd be like Route 1.
Oh, okay.
Or like Harvey Nichols. You mean there's like
because you had, what was the shop on the corner up the way? Is it still there just now?
Corniche.
Was it? Nah, not that one. It's like a skater shop.
Focus.
Yeah.
Like they moved in there maybe like 12 months when they were way like over like Westport.
Right.
Then they moved there maybe like a year when I was in. And it was like,
oh, they came after you?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Like we were there for maybe like 12 months. And it was like one of those things that was like, it was good. Do you know what I mean? Because like you were sharing customers, if that makes sense.
That's what I thought. 'Cause I mean, a lot of people would have went to both stores. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but a lot of people are like really secretive about where they get their stuff. So people don't necessarily tell their friends. There's a shop around the corner. You mean people try and keep it? Do you mean, which is like what I loved about the whole thing, like having stuff no one else had. So people were like really secretive.
And it's got even worse now as well. Like I can't remember the last time I went into a shop to buy clothes. I've just bought them online.
Like, I'm the same. Like
it's crazy. Like, and that's only since, as you say, around about that time, like 2011, 12, something like that. I would always go uptown and everything like that. But now it's just see something I like online, I'll just buy it. If I it doesn't fit, it's in the back. They give you a prepaid thing to send it back in. So you know what I mean.
So because of that, is there still a place for these boutique shops and stuff like that? Do you think
there's nowhere left in Edinburgh? Like, at that one point, there was like me, Goodstead, Focus, and then a small shop opened really randomly on Rose Street. And I think it was called like De La Souls, and they were selling like custom. Like it was there for like 2 weeks, and it was selling custom. It was selling custom sneakers. You could go in and get like a pair of Air Force Ones customized, and it was gone before I even got a chance to win it. So I don't even know. I know nothing about it. Don't know who owned it. Don't know who was doing it.
You mentioned there that you say that like, it doesn't really happen now in Edinburgh anyway. But see, overall, is there any big chains that are trying to tap into that market at all? Like, because like you mentioned Foot Locker earlier, do they sell kind of like brand exclusives and all that?
Foot Locker's like lost its Jordan account. Like, Foot Locker, like when me and Jay worked there, you could go and like on any day of the week and pick up like a pair of Jordan 3s or a pair of Jordan 1s or anything. Like they were on the shelf.
We'd even have them like in the back of the shop. Like,
there'd be stock of them. Yeah, they'd go on the sale. I remember
no one was buying them.
I remember like the pure white Jordan 4s and the black cat Jordan 4s. So it'd be like 2007, and they went like half price, and then we could get them half price on staff discounts. So like £20 a pair because they were 80.
That's mental.
Yeah, at that point as well, the days of like Jordans being £120 didn't exist. They were £84.99 for a Jordan 4. And now these things, like if you've got like a 2006 or 2007 pair, you'll get like £400 or £500 for them.
Could you have bought them and not worn them though? Do you think?
I've got
have you?
I couldn't. I couldn't. I'd have to buy 2 pairs. Like
I've got every pair of Jordans from 1 to 23, brand new. but I've also got.
You have all them?
Yeah, still.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I've got everything.
Did you used to have them on?
In
You
multiple
used to have them on display, right? Was it most
some
of
my
them?
stuff? Do you know what I mean? Like, but I've got a lot of stuff like in the house that's like the only time it'll go is probably give it to my kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or like I've got a pair of like Jordan 11s. The Concord ones, the white upper with a black patent. Like I'd wear them for like my wedding. You mean like a wedding shoe? Do you know what I mean? Like, but they've like never been on foot. Do you mean like they've like since they left the factory, they've never been on foot?
Are they all in your size as well?
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, every single
I've
one.
got everything in my size.
The whole
But I
collection.
used to have stuff that I've sold that wasn't.
One's
Right.
just
Like I had like Olympic 7s that were like 11 and a half.
Yeah.
You mean I got for cheap, so I sold. I mean I've probably into a third of what I had. Like
You're down to
collection
about
wise,
a third.
yeah,
Wow.
sold a lot.
So did you guys ever do customization, like as a shop?
Nah, like
Because
but
I noticed that, again, it's something I've seen on the web and stuff, they would even paint it
yeah,
different colours and everything and try and sell it for more. Or
like
something
we'd
like that.
try and do stuff, not necessarily with the shoe, but we'd try and make t-shirts if something was releasing.
Yep.
So when the Cement Freeze came out, it'd be like
Yeah,
2010 or
the
11,
Cement State of Mind.
Yeah.
I've still got that T-shirt
Yeah, yeah.
actually. Yeah.
and like that blew up.
That was everywhere. I remember like you went to like Urban, you went to Tipsy. Like
Yeah.
everyone was
Like I
just
still
wearing
see
that State
people
of
wearing,
Mind
yeah,
T-shirt.
like I still see people wearing it now.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily like people that had the shoe. That it was just one of those things that was, and like totally random. But like DJ Clark Kent, like produced for like Biggie, and I mean, he hit me up on Twitter, wanting like a one of a kind because he has his own colorway in the cement. He's got cement Air Max 1s, and they've got like neon green, yellow,
Yeah.
and he wanted like a one of a kind one, but he wanted a 4XL and a specific brand. I can't remember. It was like a Hanes 4XL like extra loose t-shirt. You can't get it in the UK, and like from to send it logistically it was like
Too much.
yeah. But it was like one of those really random. Do you mean
That's mad.
just through like
How did you come across that? Is it like
met,
early Twitter or something like that?
yeah, like I think like Twitter was like my main like weapon.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
like
because
getting
you
out
made a lot of connections on
Yeah,
Twitter
like-
and stuff back in the day.
like I was probably better at networking than most people were at that time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I was like going to every gig.
Yeah.
And like finding out prior to the gig the best person to like speak to like get into someone's camp.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if it was like the DJ, because like a lot of these guys before they like reach their peak, I mean their DJ would have like 800 followers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they'd most likely, if you hit them up and be like, "I see you're going to be in Glasgow next week. Do you want a T-shirt?" They'd be like, "Yeah,
Of course
cool."
they're going to do it, yeah.
And they like the fact as well that they've got like this connection.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
know what I mean that's theirs? Do you mean like someone's come to the gig for them, not for the artist?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
If that
'cause
makes
you need-
sense.
you'd like to build that wherever you go. Like in a city you go, I imagine being like an artist, going like having this connect here. Oh, I'm going to Amsterdam. Oh, I've got these
Yeah.
people here. They can sort me out with different things.
No, and it's if you get like a certain group, like it tends to be like people that were coming up at the same time, like Wiz Khalifa
Yeah.
and Mac Miller. Like that whole connection that I got with them was just total like
Right, let's go into that connection. You guys
Yeah.
throw that on us.
like literally Wiz Khalifa was playing Liquid Rooms.
Yeah.
So like the morning of his DJ Brandon Bonix just put a random message out being like, "Oh, what's good to see in Edinburgh?" You mean? And I just hit him up, just being like, "Yo, if you want someone to like show you around, I'll take you around the city." So I was like, not expecting to get anything back, and within like 20 seconds, had like a DM being like, "Meet me at the tour bus outside Liquid Rooms at 11 o'clock," and I had like no one,
crazy.
like I had literally no one to watch the shop, nothing planned.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
So I like had to phone my dad and be like, "You mean I need you to come and watch the shop?"
Yeah,
like
yeah.
during the festival. This is like peak of the festival, like super big. So I was like, "Did I close the shop?" Oh, what did I do? So I got my dad to watch it. So I went and met him outside Liquid Rooms and brought him to the shop.
Yeah.
And he ended up buying like loads of stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like he didn't expect anything for free. Like he was total
Yeah,
humble.
yeah.
And then I gave him some State of Mind t-shirts and he was like, "I'll wear it tonight." And I was like, "Cool." But I wasn't going to the gig. Like I
Yeah,
had no
yeah.
plans to. I hadn't bought a ticket. I wasn't even going to the at all. So he was like, "Oh, do you want to come?" And you can bring someone else. So I like my friend Fraser Grant, like Rarest Element producer.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Not making stuff, well, still active, but not as active as he was. I phoned him and he was just kind of like, I think I thought it was just a bit surreal. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is going to happen. Like, can you meet me at town in 4 o'clock? I mean, can you meet me at 4 o'clock in town? Because we need to go to sound check. So I think he was kind of like, is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? So like I spent the whole day just taking like Wiz Khalifa's DJ.
That's
like,
mad. Where did you take him?
He just wanted to go to shops and like but they'd literally been, it was the very last leg date of the European tour.
Right.
So he had like all this currency. Like from like he had euros, everything. Like the festivals they'd been in like Croatia, he had like all this cash. So he was like just trying to get rid of stuff.
Yeah.
So he just wanted to go around shops and try and exchange it. And then I can't remember, like we took him to like Edinburgh Castle. Like, I hadn't been to Edinburgh Castle since I was a kid. Do you know what I mean? So like, and to him, he's from like Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So they don't. It's so
like
industrial.
That.
So we're like, it like blew his mind that there's a castle in the middle of the city.
You take him into it? Didn't the full?
Yeah, we did the whole thing. Like,
wow!
And he was like, we had like all our photos taken. He wanted to like. He was like really into like his social media presence at that point. So he was like filming everything.
Yeah.
And like photographs. So we've got like photos of us like sitting on the big cannons for the 1 o'clock gun. You know what I mean? Because it was just like.
So imagine, we don't take it for granted, but they must come to a place like this and go, what?
Yeah.
Get that in the middle of the city centre.
Yeah.
Imagine he's back.
So this was a volcano.
He's just sitting talking to like Wiz Khalifa, being like, "Yo, look at me and this guy like out of the castle and stuff like that." Like, how mad is that?
I took him for fish and chips. Like he'd had a heart attack like 2 years prior, so he's like really conscious of his health. Like he'd nearly died. Like just had a heart attack. So he was like, "Oh, I want to try something Scottish." So we're like, "Oh, we'll take you for fish and chips." So like took all the batter off.
Did he?
Stripped it down and had the fish. And then we went to the sound check. And then it was just like totally like.
So you were there for the sound check
as
well,
yeah. And it's like Will, who's like the mastermind behind Taylor Gang, was like college student that found like Wiz Khalifa when he was like up and coming.
Yeah.
And like managed him, and then he's like the brains of like the whole Taylor Gang.
Yeah.
Like he comes out and takes Wiz's role. Do you know what I mean? Doing the sound check.
Okay.
So there's no Wiz at this point.
Yeah.
It's just like Will, and then he's also just like, who's this guy? Do you know what I mean? So he just gets chatting. He's like super cool, and then. They went backstage, and I think Wiz Khalifa's he's quite a private guy as far as like I never got to like meet him physically. I mean, he was on the tour bus, so I saw him, and I was like this close to him while I was on stage, and like spoke to him, but I never got to like I mean be in his company for long. But as far as I know, he like sat on the tour bus. He was like with Amber Rose at this point, so I think he just sat. As far as I know, like he sat and like Skyped the whole day. I mean, that's how like his like day was. He didn't leave the tour bus. Like they weren't interested in like seeing the sights.
It's just another day at work for a lot of people. You know what I mean? Regardless, these people travel the world and don't see any of it.
Yeah, no.
From the guys that I've encountered. So then, so you never got to meet Wiz at all?
I met him on stage. I was on stage with them because his DJ wanted like. Video of the crowd reaction.
Right.
So I was on stage with like.
So he got you to film it?
Yeah, I filmed like the whole gig for like. I literally filmed the whole gig for them.
Yeah.
And took all loads of photographs. Do you know what I mean? So it was Wiz and his hype man that night was. I can never remember the guy's name. It's on his record label. He's a big Chevy Woods.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was like both of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Wiz's DJ was wearing the t-shirt on stage, obviously. So like. Because we were on the stage, like people we knew that could see us. Do you know what I mean? We're like, holding. I mean, there's people there in their t-shirts
and in the crowd,
in the State of Mind t-shirts. Do you know what I mean? The same one he had on. So I've got like pictures, of like after the show, like people like customers, like with the DJ. Do you know what I mean? So I've got like all these photographs. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like just really surreal. And then literally a week later, Mac Miller was playing Glasgow, and like Mac Miller at this point was like. On the rise,
just bubbling a little bit,
yeah. Like Kids was out, and I think this was maybe like pre-Donald Trump. The song, I mean, when it really like hit, and just randomly on Twitter, Mac's manager, sort of like right hand man, Quentin, he's his hype man as well, had put they were going to be in Glasgow, and then Wiz's DJ messaged him being like, like if you need anything, do you know what I mean?
This is the guy
to speak to. So he messaged me being like, are you coming to the show? And I'd already bought tickets. So we were going through anyway. And then they flew in and he lost his baggage.
Who Mac Miller had?
No, his stuff was there because they were on the tour bus. But the people that were flying in to start the tour had lost all their baggage. So they had no clothes. So the guy was like extra keen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So he was like, I went to the gig. And he met us outside the tour bus, and then he was just like sort of wait there. So me and my girlfriend were like standing outside, like gave him the stuff, And then like Mac Miller and his girlfriend like came out of nowhere, and like it was one of those sort of surreal moments. Like you don't know if it was almost like you kind of knew each other, but you didn't. Like he came over and like it was just, I don't know if it was like a minute of like or a second of like, do we know each other or not? But we don't know each other. And he's like shakes my hand and like you're kind of like, but him not knowing any of this is going on kind of thing, because he's totally separate.
Yeah.
And like he likes his privacy before the show starts. So we went in with his like manager, whatever this guy is to him, and we were like chatting to all the stage crew, and then went to the show, and I gave him like loads of t-shirts hoping Mac Miller would wear it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But his hype man watch, I got tons of good photos from that.
Oh, you wore it on stage?
Yeah, wore it on stage,
nice.
so I got good photos. You mean like I've been like hype man and all this sort of stuff, so that worked out well. So it was like just like total random that within a week.
Did Wiz Khalifa and Mac Miller?
It was just sort of like a surreal one. Do you know, because I was like real into Mac Miller at that point. Like I was into like the Nikes on my feet song. Do you know what I mean? Like I just like the Nas sample and everything. Like I just like sort of where it was going. Do you know what I mean? Like it's sort of like lyrical content was what I was kind of into at that point. Do you know what I mean? Like I think I've gone through like different stages where I've like.
So what got you interested in it? Was it through shoes first? And then it worked.
Yeah, like
and then just went through all clothing.
Originally, when I left school, I wanted to go into like a fashion. I mean, not knowing how to do it, and I couldn't draw, so I don't think I could have done it anyway. Like that's kind of what I wanted to do. So I took a gap year, started working in shops, and then when XL were going to open like the G-Star shop or something like that, one of the staff or the manager was looking for staff, but it kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back when Multrees Walk was getting built. And then I went into Foot Locker one day. And then they were looking for staff, so I was just like, I'll put the CV in. Mm-hmm. Like, the rest sort of history, do you know what I mean? Like, started off like part-time, then just ended up working like full-time. Just
becomes your life after that at that point,
and
man.
Like, at that point, what was selling was like, it was commission-based, so it was high-priced product that was like, people were buying TNs at that point, which were like 140 quid a pair, like the highest price shoe. Like, that's coming back, like Air Maxes were like your money maker at that point, so you were making good commission. And you could totally, if you had an eye for people that walk into the door that were going to buy that product, you before they even hit the shoe, you'd be able,
know what they were going for.
So if you were like driven, you mean the money was crap. You mean the wage, but if you were driven enough, you could make good money and like good connections. And like I made quite a lot of like local good connections, like solid connections from that.
Who would then come to your store, you mean?
Just like all these people that like were little kids.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like Billy, Keddy, like
Billy was always
like those guys.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They were just like they were younger than me. Do you know what I mean? By a few years, they were just like 12, 13-year-old breakdancer kids that were going to under 18s that were coming in by like sweatbands. Do you know what I mean? Like Simon Perso, all these people. Do you know what I mean? Were just these like kids. I was only like 17, 18, but they were younger than me. But they were going to under 18s, and they're coming in by like sweatbands and all these different bits and pieces. And like they're people that have like you've like stayed like on a like par with like this whole time, like everyone's gone off and done their own thing and everyone's still into kind of the same thing, if that makes sense.
I mean they're big into the fashion now as well, definitely. See those days, like those when you're talking about Foot Locker, like some of those trainers I wish I'd kept back then as well. If that was the same time where like the G units first came out, I remember working there, or the games trainers, the 300s.
Nobody was buying like random thing, but nobody was buying the G unit spinner trainers. They had the one with the spinning chain, and it came. There was like a limited edition, more expensive pair that came with a like sterling silver money clip, a G unit spinning money clip, and like the area managers had like a competition. They were going to give this money clip, and I had it. And I don't have it anymore, but I had this like sterling silver spinning G unit money clip
for a staff
for selling. Who sold the most? Because any time they'd have an incentive, like Adidas released these like shoes you could plug into your laptop and download your information, like pre-Fitbit,
your running information, I remember,
and all this sort of stuff.
Nike Pluses, I think there was something like that.
Adidas did a version of it,
Adidas ones,
and they were so expensive, like $250. Nobody would buy them. So like, if anyone can sell like a couple of pairs, you mean, we'll give them something. So I ended up getting like an iPod. I mean, like early days iPod, but I mean, it was still like a good thing. But if there was always an incentive, I always like.
I'll still take an iPod. Like
try and get it. Do you know what I mean? But it was at that point like the product you could get was like way beyond what you can get now. Like stuff that's in all these shops in America that like people like really thirsty for like all these shoes from like 2006, 2007, 2008 before the quality got crap.
Honestly, like the S Carters, the 300s, the
like I was
the Hurricane. Was a Hurricane?
Yeah, they had the Hurricanes. Yeah, the games.
The G Unit ones. The
Like
ones I had, I wish I'd kept was a Scarface Nike, the Air Force Ones. Remember them?
But
The half black, half
they
white
had
ones.
like Foot Locker never had them at that point, but Shoe had the Pharrell board flips.
Ah, right.
When Pharrell was doing his skate shoe,
yeah.
when he had the skate team and the skate shoe, and Shoe had them like round the corner, and like the advent, like the color, I had every color of them. I still have a shoe, but they were like the most revolting things. Like I've got a pair still that are like they're blue leather, pink toe, yellow lace, like they're like a clown shoe, like essentially. Do you know what I mean? Like
Have you ever wore them?
Yeah, I've worn them, but you get funny look if you wear them. It's like one of those things. I used to like. I've toned it down a lot. Like when I first started like going to New York, when I was making like money and going shopping, like I'd come back with like full orange Bape outfits. Do you mean like the Bape shoe? You mean like spending like so much money on these outfits that were like so like tacky, if you want to call it tacky.
Yeah.
You mean like, but I suppose like I was a bit more like maybe flamboyant in what I'd wear. Like I wasn't caring.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to fit in. Do you know what I mean? Like when at that point, like G Star was massive and Replay was massive, and that's everyone wore it. Like there was none. Like it was just like this whole thing. Like Edinburgh's always like that. Like Helly Hansen jackets when I was at school, Rockports.
Yep.
You mean Tommy Hilfiger jackets, the big sailing jacket with a collar, like all these things.
Naff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like Edinburgh's like one of those places like one thing hits,
And that's
like
it.
that Geo Goy, whatever that was, that took
for like
over.
a year as well.
Yeah, like all these things, and it's like if you get one of those brands, do you know what I mean? Like some of the brands maybe I had, I've sort of disassociated myself with now. Do you know what I mean? Like the stuff I had in the shop was like big Larry prints. Do you know what I mean? Like the Mishka with the eyeball.
The eyeball, yeah.
You mean gory print, huge, like the whole T-shirt, and like the Crooks and Castles T-shirts. Like I had one that was like, if I could have had like 1,000 of them, I'd have sold them. And it was Money, Clothes and Hose, the Biggie lyric.
Yep.
You mean? And if I'd had 1,000 of them, I could have sold 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. I didn't have enough of the things.
The
Do you know what I mean? But the fashion now is like completely different.
the
Do you know what I mean?
Illuminati clothing, that's what I used to buy from you as well.
Yeah.
Very Illuminati related as well.
Yeah, like I was always into that.
That was
kind of-
that was before it really started. People were.
Did you guys have parents that said, like, if you were to buy something that would like be a collectible, or you thought would or anything, that you'd be a hoarder?
Like,
Because I got that all the time. I wish I had the information I have now to go back. Like I used to, for instance, have over 100 wrestling figures, right?
I still do.
Right. I can't imagine how much they're worth if I kept them all. Like
When
no, get rid of them later. I was just like, what? Yeah.
see, like my mum's a massive hoarder. Like about 3 months ago, she produced a bag of like all my wrestling figures from like the 90s. So I've got everything. Like
So you thought they were gone, basically?
yeah, I'd forgotten about them. Like I'd forgotten about them, but she still has them. Do you know what I mean? So I have like everything. I've got like $1 Million Man, like everything. Bret Hart, and like, well, Bret Hart was like my hero growing up.
Yeah.
And like a year ago, I met him. Like through his son, another Twitter connection, like total random. Do you know what I mean? Like not even believing it was his son. Do you know what I mean? Because I like followed him and spoke to him like
Which one?
Blade.
Blade, right?
Right. So
Because you got one called Ross as well.
Right. So he was doing a question and answer at Tynecastle, like a meal.
Yeah.
And I was just like being cheeky. Do you know what I mean? Being like, oh, if you're going to be in Edinburgh, I'll show you around.
Yeah.
Not knowing, because he's not verified or anything. Like his son's just got a few thousand followers. And he was like, yeah, cool. When we're in Edinburgh, I'll hit you up. And like my girlfriend was just like, I don't know if it's true. Don't get your hopes up here. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to happen. Or it's maybe not going to be the son. So like the meal started like 7. At 6 o'clock, he like DM me being like, oh, can you come to Tynecastle now? And I'll get you in. Like you can sit at our table.
Really?
Right. So I was like, you're humming and hawing for like ages, being like, should I go? Should I not go? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
not had my tea. I was like, you mean not necessarily going to the meal? And I get there, and like his son's like standing outside, like, oh, come in and go and sit. And he's got like the table at the very front of the stage with like all these Canadian people and like a movie director that's like making this documentary about Bret that like they're keeping like hidden from the world.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
the States,
nuts.
like the guys, like, it's going to change the world, and the guys got. He was telling me about this movie that he'd made, and it's called Plan Z. I think is it called Plan Z? It's a zombie movie it's on Netflix and it's everywhere.
Right.
And it's a zombie movie made in Dunfermline. That this Canadian company,
what?
like, and I was just like, oh, my friend makes movies like Dawson, Keir, you mean Breaking Point Flicks that used to do stuff from my shop. And I was just like, I thought these guys were just like.
If you didn't realise how big time they
and then like the thing comes out and I was like,
setting the time castle.
Damn. And it's like meeting Bret, like in my head prior to meeting Bret, I was like, Bret's gonna have like the long, like wet hair, the pink glasses, the leather jacket, and come out that Bret. But he's had like a stroke and you mean like cancer and everything.
It's still the only time I've been starstruck. I met him as well.
Yeah.
At his book signing at Ocean Terminal. I went down, I stood in line, and then I didn't say nothing. I just.
So I was just like
sign it.
Afterwards, they were like getting like fast food, and he does the Sharpshooter podcast, and they were doing it in Edinburgh. They were going to do it that night, and he was like, "Do you want to stay and do it?" Like Bret was like, "Do you want to stay and do the podcast? You mean come to the hotel in Leith and do the podcast?"
Did you do it?
Well, his son was desperate to go to a nightclub,
right?
Like desperate, like beyond desperate. But by this point, the question and answer and the signing was supposed to last like 45 minutes, and this was like 2.5 hours later, and there was still people queuing.
Yeah,
like he must have signed hundreds of autographs and taken hundreds of pictures. By this point, it's like 12:30, and he's like, "Can you get me in somewhere?" And I was like, phew. And then Bret's like, "I'll come." Do you know what I mean? If it gets him in, I'll come.
Yeah,
and spend 5 minutes in the club, and then get a taxi.
Yeah,
and you're like,
what? So
then they were going to do the Sharpshooter podcast, and suddenly they were like, "Oh, just come and do it." And like when I was wee, my dad took me to Aberdeen to see it, like really random, like WWE, and Bret was there, and like the boy, like 5 people along from me got the shades.
Oh, that was everyone. That was everyone.
So many people there that night had the same story. You mean like they'd seen him somewhere and nearly got the shades. And then his son was saying that I think it was maybe like SummerSlam one year at Madison Square Gardens. Bret came out and he was really pumped up and gave his son the glasses, not even realising.
Oh, what?
Do you mean his son was on the shoulders like his someone?
And he gave
his son the glasses, but didn't even realise. So it wasn't until after that people were like, do you mean give his son the glasses? But meeting him, I was like, he was going to be totally like how I remember.
Was that his only son that was there?
Yeah. Yeah. So his son does like loads of, like, he has like a funding company. Like if you've got to start a business, he's got Sharpshooter funding.
What son does?
Yeah. So him and his 2 sons, there's I think Blade and Dell or Dallas. The 2 of them run this thing, and Bret runs it as well. And if you've got a start-up company, they'll fund you in Canada. So it's like, and he's got like his own hockey team. Do you know what I mean? Like he's got the Calgary Hitmen.
Why have they never got into wrestling? Because it was a big wrestling family. Do you know?
Yeah,
so they had the Stampede for. Yeah. Because I read the book, and they had Stampede since he was a kid. And that's where he started, like Bret was in Stampede.
Like his dad. And
then that went out.
Yeah, like his dad, Vince bought the territories from his dad. Do you know what I mean? So like prior to WWF.
His dad used to train a lot of wrestlers before they got contracts.
All his stories are like being in the dungeon. And like putting these like huge guys, like 7-foot guys that are like 22 stone, like pure muscle. Yeah. And his dad's just like this wee old guy, and he's like, mum's screaming, phoning the police. I mean, I think the mum, like, his Bret's mum phoned the police once thinking someone's getting tortured. I mean, one of those, like,
and it didn't care who it was. It was like kids, girls, like whoever, women, like, we'd all get, absolutely.
Yeah, like now I think it's like Natalia's niece is like the women's champion just now, or just became the women's champion. Like she's still actively like in the wrestling business, but his sons are not. You mean like, but I don't know if it's like, you mean through choice or they just don't want to follow like.
Did you get any fashion tips with Bret Hart?
No, but I turned up with the long hair and a leather jacket.
Yes.
And people, he mentioned his son.
People thought it was
people thought it was me, and his son was loving it because his son gets loads of attention. So people were coming up being like, "What's it like being Bret's son?" And his son was just like, "Tell them." Do you know what I mean? And then he was like, "There's going to be so many disappointed people on Facebook tomorrow morning."
Did you put on a Canadian accent?
No, I was just like people would be like, "Oh, what's it like to be Bret's son?" Do you know, can I shake your hand? And I'd be like, his son would be like, shake their hand, it'd be rude not to. Do you know what I mean? He was like, so many people are going to be disappointed on Facebook.
This is probably the craziest story I could go.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, did Bret go to the club with you?
No.
Did his son?
Like, I was like, the arrangement was to like go to a club, and then they ended up getting fast food from somewhere. Do you know what I mean? So Bret's like sitting at like this big greasy like, I mean, burger out of a truck somewhere. I mean, just sitting and like standing with them like, no. You mean like one of those things like I didn't get his autograph and I didn't get a photo with him.
Right.
Because it was like one of those things. It's like
but he'll come back though.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's one of those things. It's like I think sometimes you have to like know the line of like, you mean to have like a longer term like relationship with these people. Do you know what I mean? Like moving forward, like to not come across as like the total fan. Works in your benefit because so many people are.
Did you get them any clothes?
I did take them t-shirts.
Did you?
Yeah. So
nice.
his son gave me like the sizes, so it was like a double XL.
Yeah.
So his son had the same one.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Which one was it?
I think Bret had the leopard print one, and his son. I gave his son like a couple because he was like a large. He's not like the biggest guy. He's tall, but he's not like the biggest guy. So I gave him a few.
Is Bret Hart is he the best wrestler of all time?
I don't know. I've got like so conflicted with it. Do you know what I mean? Like
You got lists as well, like top
like,
5 tag teams, top 5.
Yeah, like I could probably spend an hour just probably talking about like wrestling growing up, but like I think
again it's another one. It's 2 lists. There's the best, and there's your favourite. So my favourite aren't the same as the best. The best is Hulk Hogan. That's it. Like the best is Hulk Hogan.
You could like subgenre all these different wrestlers. Do you know what I mean? Like the greatest wrestler ever, like for the test of time is probably going to be the Undertaker. Do you know what I mean? Like if anyone, would there ever be someone that can like have a legacy? Like I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you mean in the way he left? Do you know what I mean? Like just left the hat and the gloves and everything in the ring. Do you know what I mean? Like open ended, never came back. Has never like made a statement. Do you know what I mean? Like he sort of went out on his terms.
So who's your favourite then?
Probably like Triple H. Do you know what I mean? Like I was always like a DX. Do you know, like growing up, like I always had like the DX t-shirts.
Do you have like the American football shirt with it?
I still want one. Like I desperately want one. No, I've never had one.
I had one when I was like I had one when I was like 14, and that's another thing again. That
you can get them on eBay,
I got rid of
but I don't know how. Like,
did you see Wrestling Isn't Wrestling then? There's something I need to show you if you haven't seen this.
Nah.
It's a video about Triple H's career, but it's done by he's a film director's son. He's a director himself, but he done this thing where it's like women playing all the wrestlers.
Alright,
and he's done a story of his career all the way through to kind of him becoming the boss and stuff like that.
Because like I remember like sitting watching it being really with him still being like Hunter Hearst Helmsley when he was like this like aristocrat kind of guy and
so
like
tuxedo
that
and stuff.
The big cape and like the long hair. Like I've always sort of like Triple H is probably like just his mute. You mean like just everything? Do you know what I mean? Like the water in the air, like in the ring. Do you know what I mean? Like the more like I'm not like a big rock guy. All. Do you know what I mean? But
I'm not a Stone Cold guy either.
I was a rock guy, definitely.
Yeah, I'm not a Stone Cold guy. I don't know why.
I like them both.
Like I think Bret, if the whole like Bret being screwed over thing, like didn't happen, and he'd had like a bigger career in WWE or F at that point. Like I think it's hard to know. Do you mean because then he went to like TN or whoever it was? I mean like was it Nitro?
Like was that
Monday Night Night?
Right?
WCW. And like. And Goldberg and all these people were there, and like other people had moved, like Diesel.
At the time though, WCW was probably beating WWE.
Yeah, like they were having that total war, and then it's like DX
Monday Night War, right?
Yeah, and like I think like Vince buys it over, and then DX invade it on the tank, and then that's like, do you know what I mean? Like Shawn Michaels and Triple H are on like a tank.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like a Panzer or something, like, going in like and invading it, and it was all like meant to happen, but like that era is like. I've probably stopped watching it for maybe 10 years. Yep. Do you know what I mean? So I miss like the whole Cena. Do you know what I mean? Like to me, Cena's not.
I missed that. Like Cena's not.
Like,
that's
like Cena towards like the end of his career is like I maybe only started watching maybe like 7, 8 years ago again, like actively. Yeah. So I missed like the whole Cena thing. Yep. Do you know what I mean? Like
you missed John Cena getting cheered, basically.
Yeah. But it's like the sort of where it is now is like. I'm enjoying it again. Like all these like people, like there's like this whole new breed of people that are coming through that are like a bit more exciting because it was really stale for me. I mean, like Cena was winning everything, and then like they were bringing all these like guys up from NXT to mean like Nexus. It was like making Cena quit. I mean, like I started watching again at that point, and they were like always doing like you mean retirement matches. You mean he'd get beat, and that'd be him retired, and he'd make the big speech, and then the next week he'd be back again. Like it never happened. Yeah. Do you mean like? Where it's at now, I'm like quite enjoying. Like,
I kind of gave up. Remember when it all split to like SmackDown brand or Raw brand? Like, that's when I was like, I'm done at this point. So I don't know how long.
I just miss the characters. Yeah, I want characters. I want a bin man and all that, and I want. You know what I mean? Like
Al Snow that talks about remember his
touch the head
stuff.
Like some guys called John Smith. Like
IRS, like someone that was collecting taxes.
Ted DiBiase, and that was
like those were like good days. Do you know what I mean? Like had all these like large in life people like Ultimate Warrior, and
Brutus the Barber, Beefcake. He would cut your hair with like garbage ears and stuff like that.
I have all those toys, like literally, and you had like all the big guys like Hurricane.
The model, Rick Martel. And
mate, he's
and like Lex Luthor, like the narcissist, like all these guys that he had the big mirror and he'd come in and like pose.
It was nothing to do with how good you could wrestle. It was all about how well you could be marketed. Like what your what's the word I'm looking for? What your angle was. You know what I mean?
Storytelling.
Yeah, like Bret. I watched a thing just his son put up on Instagram last week. Bret and his son were at Hot 97 with Paul Rosenberg in the morning, and he was like a surprise guest pre-SummerSlam, and they asked him about like the best, because like Flair's obviously ill at the moment.
Yeah,
and he's like saying like Flair, like the guy's like indestructible, like he's still wrestling like way when he shouldn't have been. Do you know what I mean? Like, but then they asked him like, is Hogan like the best? And he's like, he's like Hogan was like really entertaining to watch, but his fights, like his wrestling, like every match was the same. Like he'd hit the ropes and go for the. I mean, like he wasn't like a diverse wrestler. But it was entertaining.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
plus, like the people that say that about him didn't watch when he was in Japan. Because if you watch, like, just go on YouTube, type Hulk Hogan Japan, and it'll blow your mind.
Really? Yeah.
It will blow your mind. He's doing like insecurities and all that. He's doing that's like kicking somebody in the head and all that. Doing like everything. The two best in my opinion, Shawn Michaels. Yeah. And Mick Foley. He's a good wrestler, but I hate him as a person.
And I love Shawn Michaels. Yeah. I don't know what it was. Just
Mick Foley as well.
I bought into his whole character. It was the music as well. Yeah. The Shawn Michaels music.
It's just when it hits, like that's the whole thing. Like Triple H, like I'm not like into rock music at all. Really, do you know what I mean? Like, but like that Motorhead song. Do you know what I mean when it comes in? Do you know what I mean? Like the lights go. You mean when it goes green and everything? He comes out and he's just like sprays the water in there. Like,
imagine getting that as your theme though. So they play that to you and you're like, okay, I'll have that.
Yeah, remember Run DMC did the DX theme. Remember
that? They remixed it.
Amazing. I loved that.
Like all those guys in DX at that point, you had like the Road Dogg. Do you know what I mean? With his braids and everything.
Yeah,
and
the
like,
badass Billy Gunn. Like X-Pac, everyone.
Yeah, like at that point they were like, you mean just the bad you mean like that whole attitude era, if you want to call it that. Like, they were at the forefront. You mean like, and that's the sort of point where
they basically created that attitude era. You know what I mean? Like they had to, it was like some of the stuff they were doing, because obviously it was aimed at families until then. Do you know what I mean? And it started to become a bit more PG-13.
Yeah. But it's like when you remember all these like backroom brawls and like be backstage like
boiler room.
Yeah, the boiler room matches. Do you mean like Undertaker doing like casket? You mean like all those things are like, you mean like you wanted to see it? Do you know what I mean? Like there's not so much now. Do you know what I mean? Like
there's no like groups of people. There's no like Nation of Domination.
Nation of Domination. Yeah. The Rock was part of that.
Yeah. And the only reason he was part of that is because one of the guys got injured. So that's all like fate as well. Like that's mad how that kind of came about. But I miss those days. Like it's come up a couple of times on the show, like wrestling stuff, but it's just never going to be as big as what it was. Like I don't think ever. Like independent's now really good.
Yeah, like I think it's more like all these guys that are coming from like independent or like really like.
I heard the Bullet Club's a thing. Like that's like the NWO now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like they've got so many like that Cody Rhodes guy that was like Stardust. Do you mean like left? Yeah, like he's in Bullet Club, and it's like all these guys are like. There seems to be like, you mean all these people that join it. Do you know what I mean like AJ Styles? That's a WWE just now, and it was like started by the Irish guy. What's his name? Finn Balor. Do you mean like it's sort of like it's all these people just like get joined into.
They were here in March or April, March.
No, they were here on Sunday night at the Corn Exchange on the 20th.
There?
It was just like I wanted to go, but because the tickets that were left were like like Ring Honor did like Corn Exchange, and it was like Bully Ray, whatever you want to call him, like from the Dudleys was there,
Dudley Boys,
like he was there, and then like they had. Like all these guys that are Bullet Club, like Marty Scurll,
Hardy Boys are back in WWF as well.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
But it's like they had like this whole rise in TNA, but TNA like own like all the rights to like their gimmick that made them big. So it's like they get like fined like $2,500 every time like they make a hand gesture that like is owned by TNA right now. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's like they went with this like momentum into WWE, but everyone's kind of waiting for like WWE to buy the contract off TNA to like let it happen. Because they keep hinting at it.
But it's just not happening.
But it's just not happening, do you know what I mean? So I don't know if it'll lose it as momentum.
When they were here in March or whenever it was, Kenny Omega was in the chip shop at the top of Broad Street. What's it called? With the DJ in that.
Picanti.
Cafe Picanti. And he was eating a deep fried Mars bar, and he said it was amazing.
Really? I completely missed that as well.
Yeah, like him and the Young Bucks. That's his tag team he's got. And they both ate like, it's good. Like, couldn't believe it.
Yeah, like I know the Hardys like rate them like really high. Do you know what I mean? Like they drop the titles to them before like WrestleMania and whatnot. But I don't really see a lot of ring. I mean, like I like dabble in bits and pieces. Do you know what I mean? But
it's good that they can make a living because you always like I watched the British wrestler documentary, and you could just see people breaking bones and damaging their bodies for nothing, getting paid nothing, and now they can make a living from it.
Yeah, no, totally.
Here, like ICW sold out Hydro and stuff.
Like that original documentary they've got, like, or the first one that BBC aired. I mean, it was like the guys like that. Mark Dallas. It's like, I mean, he's them all for like working for like nothing. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And he's like, oh, I hope one day I can pay you all. Now, like, look at them all, like Wolfgang and all these people are like actually in WWE. You mean like they're all?
See, you think about that. You watch that documentary. Like this guy years ago was just like loved wrestling. Was like, yo, I'm going to start a wrestling company. And look what it's done. Who would I would never expect that. Never in a million years would I thought people would buy into Scottish wrestling.
Not at all. Like,
and it's crazy. Like you said, sold out shows everywhere they go. Yeah. They were playing in like pubs and clubs to like selling out arenas.
No, that's all. Like,
they used to do. I don't know if you've seen them at like Studio 24.
Yeah.
And it was mad.
Because we had John from Raw Beard Oils. And he sponsors Jack Chester.
Yeah.
And he's got his own oil now.
Alright.
Because it Kinky something.
Something like that, yeah.
He's got literally his own beard oil that he sells now. And
when you get yours.
Yeah,
trying to pitch that idea.
After my film.
After your movie career takes
off. But, so, I could talk about wrestling all day, like. But in terms of...
That'd be a whole other show just going on.
Talked about your favourites then. So, in terms of music... I think you've came prepared. You already know you're kind of
like I'd say like
top 3, top 5,
top 5. You said let's go top 5 all time, top 5 groups.
Yeah, like top 5 all time, like Nas, Jay-Z.
There's a real. You've seen previous shows, so there's a person that needs to appear on this list.
Yeah, but I'd say like the very first concert I ever went to was Kanye. And like a Connection Muse, like Talib Kweli was support, right?
I was at that one at Glasgow Carlin Academy.
And there wasn't that many people there.
Yeah,
this was like College Dropout.
Yeah,
and like those are like those albums. Like Kanye West is a producer.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not necessarily like there's certain songs he'll put out now, like Blood on the Leaves and stuff. That's like but his lyrical content then compared to now, like I like Kanye then.
Yeah. I think everyone would agree with that. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's the sort of like
no, but there's someone looking at you on the wall over there. I was
like my favourite rapper of all time is Biggie, like 100%. I mean, like 100%. Do you know what I mean? Like
Nas is a good one. I like Nas.
Yeah.
Love
like
Nas.
Illmatic's like my favourite album. Like I could listen to it all day, every day, non-stop.
Yep.
Like I could probably list all the sampled producers on. You mean like it's one of those things I just like know inside out. Like Reasonable Doubt, Jay-Z, like that album again. Like up there, like groups.
The Blueprint, though. The Blueprint was that's the Jay-Z album for me.
Yeah,
like
that's the one. Like that's that era that I love. That soulful hip hop.
But we talked about this before. You remember I mentioned like Kanye West on the Blueprint. You take him out. I looked
3 songs. He produced 3 songs on it. 4, is it?
He produced more than Just Blaze.
Okay. It's like the thing.
You take 4 of those songs out. It's not an album.
Okay.
The thing with Kanye as well, like I think a lot of people don't realise that other songs he produced in that time scale, like Stand Up, Ludacris, like not many people realise that's him. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like he's produced all these other things. Like I mean,
he was everywhere back then. Remember that Dilated People song as well?
It's well to say, like I've like just through like the Twitter world as well. Like I've been to like the last 4 Dilated People shows in Britain, and like I know Raka really, really well.
Yeah,
I mean, and like I've spent quite a lot of time with. You mean like when they've been here, I've spent a lot of time with him and Evidence, and like I'd probably say like groups like Gangstar.
Yep.
Probably favourite hip hop group of all time. Dilated, Jurassic 5, and like we did that video when Nasty P has a song with Akil from Jurassic 5 in the shop when I had the shop.
Well, actually, that's one of the things we've got lined up. But we'll keep on this, and we'll go back to that.
That was like surreal, and like Dilated, I loved. Like prior to ever meeting them.
Yep.
Like Worst Comes to Worst, and like the
Classic.
Platform, like all these things were just like. And then I've got like I'd say like a top 5 of people that are like I wouldn't class as like. I don't know how they'll stand the test of time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like ASAP Rocky, but like the mixtape, like that Love ASAP, like the mixtape, like with Peso and like when that.
Oh right, okay.
Like all these things were like. When I opened the shop like 2009, like all these things were sort of like bubbling.
Yeah.
Like loads of things were bubbling at the same time. Like Odd Future were starting to bubble.
Yep.
You mean ASAP was starting to bubble. You mean like all these sort of like, and they were like so. The fashion thing was like just as important as their music.
Yeah.
Like Tyler the Creator like made Supreme like.
Well, yep.
You mean people that didn't know what it was knew what it was purely because of him. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, but I was never an Odd Future fan, but.
That's one group I've never really got into as well. I've tried, but
yeah, like
seen them live as well, but I've never really got
like,
into it.
Like
it's hard for us because, if we're being honest, as producers, their beats are just not like they're.
I wouldn't say that.
No, if you go back and listen to like when people were getting into them, talking about like their original
like Left Brain,
like,
I think is like quite. He's got some stuff that you mean like when he did Mellow Hype. You mean like I quite like that with like, what's the guy's name? He does it with I can't remember the group they were in. It's like all the numbers, the songs were all numbered like 65, 64.
Mellow Hype was what's the guy's name?
Hodgie
Beats.
Yeah, like I like that. I mean, I've kind of like that, and I like Domogenesis.
Yep.
And like one of my friends, like in New York, I mean, a rapper like Remy Banks.
Yep.
Like he's got. You mean like he's close with like Domogenesis, and they've got quite a few good songs together. And like, but there's like all these people like Stally. Do you know what I mean? Like I liked him before he was like a thing. Do you know what I mean? Like a MySpace rapper.
Like Stally was one of the ones you put me on early. Like I remember every time coming in the shop.
Yeah.
And he's like Stally. You
like,
put me onto his music.
Yeah. Like
and like even when he got signed, I felt like I was like proud. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
just because I didn't know the guy, but I was just like I knew just through you.
Yeah. It was one of those things because I think I had like a personal relationship with like these people.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like. I met him when he was a sales assistant in like my favourite shop in New York.
But he's not from New York though.
No, he's from Cleveland.
So he moved to New York to pursue music.
Yeah. So like he literally moved there. He was like a promising basketball player.
Right.
And the Stally thing, he was like called Stallion.
Yeah.
So it was just it became like everyone called him the Stallion.
So
it became Stally. And like at first he was like Stally Massillon. And that was like the place he was from. Do you know what I mean? But then it dropped to just Stally.
What about Wu-Tang?
Yeah, like I've seen them
just
live.
For this kind of year,
yeah, like never seen the full lineup.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has.
Like that night they played HMV Picture House. I think you touched on it with Prospect, and Semtex was playing. Like he was getting bought. Like I've never like he handled the crowd so well, but he got to the point that he'd run out of songs pretty much, and he was just asking for MCs to go on stage. So I think like Kobe went, like Kobe and Yumi went up, and a few other people went up because like he was getting pelted. You mean like, and then there's a few people. I mean, I've never seen the full lineup, and then I went with my girlfriend's brother, or I can't remember who I went with, to see the Jizz in Glasgow, and he came out all black, wearing a baseball glove, and stood and just looked at the back of the stage, like just looked, like at the back of the hall, and never he just rattled out Liquid Swords and a few other things, and that was it. Do you mean like, and like MF Doom's like one of my top five.
But I heard that Doom for like the last 15 years has like basically not been doing shows. He's been
I've seen him.
People put on a mask.
I saw him in Glasgow, and it was at the Caves.
Was it him though?
Yeah, it was 100%, 100%, 100% Doom. But like the sound,
everyone said that.
We were right down the front, and like they hadn't put the protector over the mic he had, so it kept banging. At certain points, it was like banging the mask. And the oh man. It was just, I think the whole thing with Doom is like, I like the whole like anonymity he's got. Like, he's almost like a superhero. Like, no one knows, like, nobody knows who he is. Like, he can go through day to day life. Do you know what I mean? And like, even like J Dilla as a rapper, like, I know everyone says like,
the beats and
like Slum Village. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've not seen them live. There's only T3 left. But they played Voodoo Rooms maybe like 7 years ago. And Dilla's younger brother, Illa J, who's a rapper, like he's a rapper in his own right. Do you mean over Dilla Beats? Like they were there, and that was like, I found that one pretty.
I remember meeting guy from Slum Village. Wasn't it Batten? Yeah. Literally met him 2 days later. He died. Yeah. I met him in New York at a show, backstage, and then 2 days later, gone. One thing I've always like wondered was you touched on it earlier, the State of Mind T-shirt with the cement.
Yeah.
Did Nike own that that colour or anything? No.
The cement thing in general is just it's elephant. I mean, I think it's classed as elephant print.
Yep.
Do you mean? But just to sort of like, stay away from anything.
So that'd be like saying someone owns the colour green on a t-shirt, kind of thing. To do something like that, right?
Yeah, like it's like anything in. I mean, everything's been done before. Do you know what I mean? Like if you think you've done, I mean, unless you've got something that's completely out there. Do you know what I mean? No matter what you think's yours, has been done before.
Yeah.
Like we released a t-shirt that one of the guys that used to work in the shop or help out in the shop totally did on the computer. And it went on blogs and it was all over the place. And then people were like commenting and being like, "Oh, Maharishi did this print in like 2002. This is what the t-shirt's called." And it's like, how do people? You mean? And it was there was elements that were similar. Do you know what I mean? But we didn't know that. Do you know what I mean? Like it's hard. I mean, it's hard with logos or anything to like. Most of the time as well, like a lot of brands just like plagiarize other people's logos. Do you know what I mean? Like there's so many t-shirts that are like rip-offs at other people's, like Thrasher, for example, like that Thrasher logo like has been ripped off by so many people.
Yeah, the lines are becoming so blurred in terms of like you see companies literally set up to copy other styles and just put a different label on it.
Yeah,
say this is the cheaper version of that.
It's like a legality thing. Like in Italy, it's legal to sell Supreme. There's like Supreme stores that sell fake Supreme stuff.
Yeah, Apple and untouchable. All that, like, mental.
And there's like
that's a real thing.
Yeah, like there's Virgil Abloh that runs Off-White, who's like Kanye's like I don't know what you want to call him, like right hand kind of guy that's like sometimes like the vision. Like he had a shop similar to mine in Chicago called RSVP Gallery. At the same point I had it before he became this huge big fashion guy like running fashion. And they were selling similar stuff that I was selling. And like they just had, because of like he was Kanye's like sort of stylist. They had all these connections that like got them in with other brands. Like they did a like collaboration with Bape when no one else did a Bape collaboration, and they were doing all these like crazy things. And then he went on with a few other people to start like, or he was involved in like Bean Trill. Remember that Bean Trill that was massive for a bit? And then that disappeared, and then Pyrex came, and it was like, they didn't release much. It was like Pyrex shorts and like bits and pieces. And then that completely like came grinding to a halt. But there's now a company in it, I think it's in Italy, that does the whole Pyrex. It's identical, but it's like untouchable. Like no one can touch it. And it's basically just selling like his stuff. Like it's like you would never know the difference. It's just, but it's a lot cheaper, and they've got a website. They can go on the website and like ship it to Britain. It's just there's so many loopholes, like copyright and trademark. It's like,
what was the clothes that you wore, like the hip hop clothes that you wore when you were younger?
Oh, like I was like the only kid at like high school where it was
Fubu
like
and stuff.
Fubu,
Fubu,
but,
Echo, all them.
There was like when
Carl Kanai,
like when Echo came
Sean
out,
John.
when All Sports had Echo. You know, there was an All Sports at the West End.
Yes.
It had Echo, right? That was like,
oh yeah, that
so like West End,
it
had everything, and then like people didn't realize, but like TK Maxx had everything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like Fubu, Carl Kanai, everything. And like prior to having a shop and prior to doing stuff, I used to like sell loads of stuff on eBay.
Yeah.
Like that was the first thing I used to love it. Like I'd go to TK Maxx and like stuff that I didn't want, but I was selling to like Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
Like Fubu t-shirts that you're picking up for like £2 with a red tag. And then like I was getting like smarter with it, and like, but ultimately it was like my downfall on eBay as well, because like you'd go in and they'd be like Ralph Lauren polo tops with like a 6XL that they're selling like a £5, and like you'd sell one or two, and then but if you had 6, eBay would suddenly be like, what's going on? But you could pick up stuff all the time. Like I remember I got like loads of True Religion jeans that were like in Harvey Nichols and like £400 a pair, and TK Maxx on like $39.99. So, and it's 28 days to return. So you literally go, if stuff didn't sell, you just take it straight back. Do you know what I mean? Because you'd put up at like £100 buy now, and like some people would buy it. You know what I mean? Like people would genuinely buy it because it was like a third of the price still. There was like a science to it, and like even with the shop, like you learn when's the best time to sell stuff online. Like people would think maybe like a Friday, Saturday night, people are like, oh, that's a good time to release stuff. But people are out. Like people at 9 o'clock on Friday night, people's I'm not going to be sitting like waiting on a t-shirt that's limited edition. Like if you release something like a Tuesday, Wednesday, people then want it like next day or for Friday, Saturday. So it's like a science to it. And like eBay was the same. Like you always don't sell stuff on eBay like at 6 o'clock on a Tuesday night because that's when people are coming back from work.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like you wait till 9, 10 o'clock at night when people are like had their dinner and they're sitting bored. Do you know what I mean? That's when you start. Did
you sell stuff online through the shop as well?
Yeah. Like more so my own stuff than actual brands.
Right.
Because the brands I was selling, by the point that like e-commerce was a big thing, like I was like so far behind.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like there was shops doing it, like ASOS started selling stuff. Like ASOS has like Billionaire Boys Club now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that was like my dream brand to have. And like
you always wonder where I got my stuff from.
I got so close to it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, like so close to it. Like I was sitting one day in the shop eating a panini. It was like total dead. And these two guys come in like head to toe in like Bape and like Louis Vuitton stuff. You mean like, and the Bape Louis Vuitton like collaboration, like the holdalls. And you mean it's suddenly I was like, who are these guys? Do you know what I mean? And it was the guys that run like the distribution company, and they were looking for a new shop to put the stuff in. So they were just going around like all the independent shops, and eventually went to Harvey Nichols.
I was going to say it's in Harvey Nichols.
But XL have it now. But the like wholesale price, you had to buy like 20 pairs of jeans, and the jeans are like $300-400 at that point. The price has gone down a lot now that it's been taken over. Do you mean like now that it's not like Bape running it?
Yeah. Like
the prices of like the quality's crap, and the price has gone like.
So you probably don't even want to sell it anymore.
Yeah. But at that point, it was still like.
Yeah.
Do you mean that's what I wanted? Do you mean like
who designs a shop? Like who the layout of it?
Me, like it's like the whole shop was like.
You had the video up, didn't you? Of you doing the shop up, was that right?
Yeah. Like we did, like it was like a picture sort of slow, like real thing, but it was like literally got the keys, and then had like 2 weeks to turn it around. So it was like my girlfriend's dad, like 24 hours a day for like 2 weeks because like a joiner, and he built like. I had like an 11-foot cash desk that was just jelly babies under perspex.
That's what I was like. That I wasn't 100% sure. I wasn't going to ask you, but I knew it was something in it.
And like that ended up on their website. Like Jelly Bellies used it on their website because it was like.
Whose idea? You came up with that idea?
It was just like I was just like put something under. I think it was actually my girlfriend. Like like I don't think it was me. Do you know what I mean? Like she's like really creative. Like
that was like in the Vapor Lounge with the fish tank and the old cigarette machine.
Yeah, like
that's crazy.
I was like. And it was one of those things. It's like, is it even possible? And it was a pain to do. Do you know what I mean? Because you had to like find like the exact average height of a jelly bean. Do you know what I mean? To then get a bit of perspex cut that would like sit flush, with not like, it was a nightmare. But they found out about it, and it cost a fortune to do because we had to go to like Costco and buy like the huge tubs. Yeah, it was expensive. And then they found out about it, and it was on their website, and they sent me like a huge box. They estimated how many jelly beans were there. And they sent me like a huge box of stuff to like compensate me for it because they were like, "Oh, it's a cool idea."
Just a deal with Red Bull as well.
Yeah,
I just remember being Red Bull everywhere in that shop.
Yeah, like at that point I was just having like A-Life, like my favorite shop all the time. Like I wanted to work there. Like probably the reason I had my own shop was because I wanted to work in that shop in New York. Mm-hmm. Like that was like the dream, but like. It's not really like the dream when you realise you're getting the same pay to go and live somewhere that's more expensive. That's like, so they had like a courtyard, and they used to do they still do. Mm-hmm. So like when Drake released the first album, they did the release party, and it wasn't like a huge. It was just this guy, and he's friends with like all the guys that I was friends with in the shop. Mm-hmm. So like 5 a.m. in Toronto, the song at the start of it. He says some old Tommy Campos, Dice Raw shit, and those are the two guys that worked in the shop.
Oh man!
So Dice is like one of my really good friends. And like through working in A-Life, he's been in like the TV program How to Make It in America, which was like came out at the same time I had the shop, and it's two guys starting a streetwear brand from scratch, and like the parallels were like it was like everything I was doing here kind of thing, like they were doing in the TV. I mean, it was so like just the timing of it was really weird, and he's been in that, and he's been in like Boardwalk Empire, but it's like through the association through A-Life. Do you know what I mean? Like because you're in New York and you're such visual people. You're almost like a celebrity for working in a shop, if that makes sense. Like everyone knows you, and like that downtown scene in New York, like the parties and the nightlife, like the people that work in like Supreme and A-Life and all these shops are like they are almost like celebrities.
They're getting
like
the ones that are getting into those places are getting everywhere.
Like celebrities want to be friends with them because they're like the contact to get stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like so it's like they were doing like getting mentioned in like Drake songs and like doing the Drake parties and. Like when Drake came here, we went to the after party, and I didn't get in because I was wearing A-Life. Right,
I remember
and this was like such a the one of the only times in my life I think I've ever had had a diva strop.
Yes.
Right, so we went to see Ben did the interview with J. Cole that night, and J. Cole was like walking around the crowd. No one really knew him, right? And then I had like all these connections to Drake, having never met, like just like people. You mean be like, oh, this guy. You mean, and at this point he was like getting big. So we went to the after party with like the full intention of them being like, just when you're there, you mean, just say. So we arrived and the bouncer's like, you're not getting dressed like that. And I was like, I was just like, what do you mean? Do you know what I mean? Like totally being like taken aback. So I had like this, didn't get in. We're in like A-Life, and like he'd been like 3 weeks prior releasing an album there, right? And I was just, but the bouncer's not to know that, do you know what I mean? So I was like having like a total strop. And then the next morning I get a phone call at the shop, and I thought it was a total wind up. And it was like the tour manager apologising on like behalf.
No, really?
No joke. And being like, can you send us t-shirts or something? And we'll give them, we're really sorry, we found out what's happened, it was out of our control, we weren't in control of the night. But
how did they find out?
Well, someone saw the Facebook thing, so I'm guessing it's one of the guys.
Remember that,
so I'm guessing it's one of these people in, like through New York. People know has then gone, and then really random, like me and my girlfriend and someone were playing. Nathan that used to do the t-shirts for me to work with.
Right.
We were sitting playing like Xbox one day, and Prospect came in with Future the Prince, Drake's DJ.
Yep.
On this like rainy day, and we were all sitting. Do you know what I mean? And like we were telling him like the story, and he was like laughing. And then about 2 weeks later, at Fashion Week in New York, Drake was DJing, and I think it was like Chanel or Dior, and a few of the people I knew were there. And then obviously his DJ was saying to them, "Oh, I was in your friend's shop." So I got like the message, do you know what I mean, being like, "Oh, you'll never guess where I am right now." Do you know what I mean? I'm like in Dior, and here's Drake, and we're just having a conversation about. You mean like, do you know what I mean? All laughing about the time you didn't get into the party. You mean like taking the like literally roasting me. Do you know what I mean? Like it was just really surreal.
That's
do you know what I mean? Like. But yeah, Ben just like pitched up. Like Ben was good for like there's like people like were good at like through like Ben and Chris. Like if people were at Tipsy, like Memphis Bleak,
and like who could shops or bring make sure you
they'd be like they'd be like total cool. They'd be like, "Oh, bring t-shirts down." Like Memphis Bleak, I'm still speak to him to this day. Do you know what I mean? I haven't met him like once. You know what I mean? Like Who Kid wore the t-shirt, and then I'm sure like Chris messaged me to say like put him on the plane at Edinburgh Airport, and he was wearing a t-shirt back to New York. Like going on the plane, he's like, "Oh, you'll never guess." Like he's wearing a t-shirt. Do you know what I mean? Like total random. And then he like messaged me on Twitter, just being like, he was involved in some brand, like CRISPR. I don't know what it's called, like some brand. But he was like, "Oh, you mean, do you want to see about putting in the shop or like getting involved in some point?" But just like a really like random like, you mean a night out, and the bouncers were total cool. You mean the bouncers sort of like got savvy to it as well, so they'd totally be like, "Oh, you go to the car." Do you know what I mean? Like it's cool. Do you know what I mean? Like it was just like one of those weird.
What about the in-stores in the shop? Like the in-stores is something that a lot of people remember.
Yeah, like
I was at a couple.
They all like came about like the first one was Ben and Kobe.
Yep.
And that was just like, I think it was like 2 weeks. We had like 2 weeks to plan it. It was like one of those things that was like bumped into that. I'm pretty sure like we bumped into each other on the Royal Mile, and it was just total like, oh,
come to the shop, perform.
Yeah, like let's just do something. And that's how the Red Bull thing sort of happened as well, because Red Bull sort of like...
I remember they brought that car up.
Yeah, they brought like an articulated truck and had Ben DJing outside the shop in it. And like,
they had decks in the car on the roof. Yeah. And like microphones and all stuff.
They dropped like 200 cans of Red Bull. I mean, like really randomly. And then Kobe was starting to like record at the studio in London. Do you know what I mean? So there's like loads of connections. Studio, and then I can't remember if through Raka from Dilated, DJ Vadim, who did that song Terrorist, the drum and bass kind of song, he was doing a project with, really random again, this guy came in the shop, this rapper from Chicago, was on holiday in Edinburgh, and came in the shop and introduced himself, and he was Pugs Atoms, this guy, who had like this buzz in Chicago. And he was just sort of like, "Oh yeah, I'm a rapper." Again, being like, "There's my CD." Do you know what I mean? Like, check it out. So I kept in touch with him on Facebook, and then he was in a group with DJ Vadim called The Electric, and they're like, "Oh, we're touring. We're going to be in Scotland. Do you want? I mean, we'll do an in-store. That looked really cool. That thing you did. Yeah, and we'll film it." And then like they came, and then that night as well, not Diversity, but the other group that was in Britain's Got Talent, the dance group, Flawless.
Yep.
They turned up. Do you know what I mean? Like these like famous dancer guys that like
to the in-store.
Yeah, like just like appeared. Like someone brought them. I can't remember who it was, but somebody brought them to the shop. So they were there, and then the one that never happened was Ski Beats.
No, yeah.
So like, I'd spoken to him a lot on Twitter, and then he was in Britain because he was doing a 24-hour karate school UK edition. So he was in London, and then I messaged him just to be like, you mean I sent him the video and be like, if you want, you mean like I can't offer you loads of money, but or anything really, but I'll pay for you to come, and you mean it'll be cool. And he was like, yeah, we'll totally do it. So not thinking much of it, and then I'd given them my phone number, and I was sitting having dinner with my girlfriend, and the phone went. And I picked it up and it was just like, yo, it's Ski. Do you know what I mean? I was just like, but you know, and you're like, right. And he's like, oh, let's totally make it happen. But it has to be on like, it was going to be like a Tuesday night. And I knew it was going to be bigger than I could do in the shop. Yeah. So like me and Fraser like tried to do it in like an art gallery. Like we were trying to do it somewhere, do you know what I mean? That was a bit different. You know what I mean? Take it out of the shop. So it almost was like, but like if that one, because it's like dead present, you mean like that whole, you mean, and then the stuff with Currency, like at that point he was like doing the 24-hour karate school, and he'd done stuff with like Stally. He was doing stuff like Most Def, like all these people, and like the cool kids that was in, you mean, I was into them for a bit, you know what I mean, like he was working with all these people, so I was like, it'd be amazing.
That would have been
mad. That'd been like a really good one to have, but it just never happened. And then like the Stally one, like trying to get like literally like,
did you think him getting signed sort of put a stop to everything, or was it still like go ahead after that?
To this day, like every time I ever have a conversation with Gavin Marks, it's like every time, like he'll message me like once every 6 months to be like, we could have had Stally in Edinburgh. Do you know what I mean? Because just nobody was on it. Yeah, like nobody was on it. Like it was just one of those things, and then like literally I think it was like 72 hours later, like the press release goes out that he'd been saying to me about music, and then all of a sudden it's like, you mean everyone wants them? Yeah, to like whoever was managing, you mean all these people that manage that roster, the people. To then have them to do a club appearance and the rider, you mean, it's like out with the budget in Edinburgh. Do you know what I mean? Like, but just through the Maybach thing, just for the power of the flyer. Like, you mean, but nobody saw the sort of like, it was frustrating. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like offering people this like something you knew was going to blow, but
no one else could see.
So we discussed this thing. I think it was with Kobe. I don't know if it's just Edinburgh or if it's just Scotland as a whole. They seem to only listen to something when it appears in the charts. Yeah. Or wear a clothing brand that only appears if, as you say, Kanye West wears it. Or like there's a load of hype, what do you call them, hype beasts.
No.
Here. Like I think Edinburgh is pretty bad for it. And I think that's why we're not producing as many kind of solo artists and stuff. We should be producing more. I don't think people are getting the support at a lower level.
There's a lot of people I think go completely under the radar.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I don't think that's just here what you're saying though. I think that's literally could be said anywhere.
The thing, like the mentality thing with me is like just from like using like New York as an example, like everyone you meet in like if you meet someone in a shop, they're the sales assistant in the shop, but they're something else. Like they're a rapper, they're a musician, they make music videos, they're a photographer. Do you mean like the aspiration's bigger? Like I don't think many people here have the aspiration. Do you know what I mean? I think people here just be like, that's the card I was dealt. Do you know what I mean? I work in an office and that's the way it's going to be. Do you know what I mean? Like people don't really push the envelope. Do you know what I mean? There's not many people that are like, you mean, I do this, but
I'm this as well.
Yeah, I'm this as well. Do you know what I mean? Like people be like, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I'm never going to be a rapper. You mean?
Yeah.
But you mean I would say like, what if? Do you know what I mean? Like I was thinking like when Nas made like Illmatic, he's like what 1920. Do you know what I mean? Like by 20, like most people, what have you achieved? Like by 20, I'd achieved nothing. Yeah. And like he makes like the greatest rap album, like in my opinion, ever. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
crazy to think that they were in that state of mind, pun intended.
Yeah. Do you think? I felt right. This, do you think Nas? People say ruined the hip hop album when he wrote Illmatic. See, up until that point, a hip hop album was one producer. You know what I mean? You had like it was like Eric B, Rakim. You had all these albums was a sole producer creating a whole album, and then Nas came and was just like, yo, you know what? Here's like 8 of my favourite producers. I'm going to do a song with each of them. And
like all the beats on that, you got Premier, you got like DJ Premier, you've got like Q-Tip, you've got everyone, like
Pete
Large
Hawk on
Professor,
there, you've got
everyone. You know what I mean, like, and each song's like, I don't. For me personally, it's like you almost when that album comes on, like it almost like transports you like visually. Do you know what I mean? To like you could literally be in New York, like even from the first track when like the subway tracks are hitting. You know what I mean? And it's like. It just has like.
When we went to see Nas, we were just there looking at each other, just smiling.
We went to see him like last month, and what he was doing was he was playing the original song.
Yeah.
So like a Michael Jackson song, you know, getting about a minute of that, and then cutting it into how he sampled it, and he did it with all Illmatic, like play the original, and then his version. It was amazing. Yeah, like because from someone like me, like I love sampling, I love like beats. Yeah, it's amazing to see that.
Like when I had the shop, like it was sort of like a hub for people that were like. Doing stuff, if that makes sense.
You kept trying to get me
the shop was
down to,
never
like,
empty.
You want me to come down and like beat battle in the shop and stuff like that. Like,
there's like I wanted like to do so many different things. Like every day there'd be like people in the shop that were like creative. You mean like I'd always have like Dawson down like here, like Breaking Point Flicks, like editing videos. Do you know what I mean? So he'd have like all this raw footage of these music videos and he'd be sitting like editing it. And like Nathan would be there and he had like a 3-color t-shirt carousel printer downstairs, so he could like print t-shirts.
So just before we get into the Lord of the Rings moment, which Jigz will explain to you, I'm
100% sure this is going to be the first guest that's seen Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, okay.
No.
Oh, no, man! Honestly,
Brilliant.
Never.
So it goes on deaf ears again, Jigz. Sorry.
Yeah, like,
no one's got my point.
No.
How many guesses is this now? Like for like 18 or 19 if you add everyone.
I have the same reaction when people say they've never seen Top Gun.
Oh yeah,
like if people say they've never seen Top Gun, I'm like,
I've seen that as well.
But before we get into that, we always talk about going forward and stuff. So fashion, you know, we've kind of talked off here about kind of things we might be able to do, which will hopefully keep you up to date about. But in terms of clothing going forward, you know, with more celebrities getting into it than ever before, and more people maybe becoming designers themselves rather than getting other people to do it for them and things like that, or in high streets tapping into the kind of boutique market and everything. Do you see positives, negatives from the way everything's going, or
like from a music artist perspective, like people's merch is now like big business. Do you know what I mean? Like The Weeknd's done like a whole range of stuff for like H&M. And Justin Bieber's like whole merch range sold in like 2 seconds in H&M, and like all that
shops and all this.
Like Drake's got like some of those people that I knew from shops in New York like work for Drake. Do you know what I mean? Like they all work in like his flagship in New York now. You mean like it's an actual business? Do you know what I mean? It's not just like it's a brand. Do you know what I mean? Like they do everything. Like it's not just to do with Drake. It's like a whole lifestyle thing, and like all the stuff that's like a lot of the Kanye West merch that became super big. It's all designed by like this guy called Jerry Lorenzo, who runs a brand called Fear of God, and they do Justin Bieber's merch. So like all of it's like a lot of it stems from the one person. Do you know what I mean? Like this guy's like sort of the mastermind behind like the logos and like the visuals. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like a lot of the time it's not Kanye West and it's not Bieber coming up. You mean it's this guy who has his own brand that's like the vision. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know how hands-on these people actually are with their own product, if that makes sense. But like H&M and all these places are like total tapped into it. Like I was there the other day and they've got like Nas t-shirts, like Illmatic t-shirts, and they had like Eminem t-shirts, even and Outkast jumpers.
Was it the Kardashian thing? I think I mentioned it previously. Somebody didn't know what was happening, but when the Kardashians put Tupac and stuff on their t-shirts, and the States were like, no,
like I think
what are you doing?
I find that like really surreal sometimes because it's like some of the stuff that I
was buying Wu-Tang hoodies and pre-market stuff like that from
like I had like stuff in the shop that if you'd asked me like when I had the shop still if the like Kardashians be wearing it I'd like be like there's no chance. But it's like total crossed over, like all these people are wearing like wrestling t-shirts and like Nirvana t-shirts and like Motley Crue like all these things that are like have now become like part of fashion.
You can't predict it. You can't predict where it's going to go.
Like right now, it's like streetwear. You mean is now this big thing? Do you mean like it's like a total buzzword? Like I had a streetwear shop. That's what I'd call it. I'd say I had a streetwear shop. But at that point, not many people could probably tell you what streetwear was. Like people would either think it was like stuff for white guys that were like trying to dress black, or stuff for skaters. You mean like now it's just like it encompasses everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think the days of like big logo like big branded overly logo t-shirts are gone. Like people are more subtle.
Yeah.
And I think guys are like less fickle now to wearing like big huge plastered logos. Like I think more people want to look like they've got a sense of style.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mean? And like I think it's a good thing as well. The more people that have their own sense. If there's more leaders than followers.
Yeah.
Do you mean there's not enough leaders? I think it needs more leaders, but it takes people to like lead. Like Ali from Young Fathers, like if you see him, he'll be wearing like tartan trousers, a leather trench coat. Stuff that you won't see anyone else wearing. And like, guy's like a leader.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But there's not many people follow it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's so like
out there.
An expression of himself. Do you know what I mean? That it's like he's probably the only person that could pull it off. It wouldn't look great on everyone. There's not enough people that are like leading the way. And like I think there's a lot of people that are just maybe too scared. Like I'm not saying I did it, but I was wearing stuff. Yeah, I always wanted stuff no one else had, and that's where the shop stemmed from. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to be like the only person
with that.
And Sunday night in Tipsy Massa in a Bape t-shirt, and like only person that would know it would be like Nick G.
Yeah.
He'd be like, I tried to get one of those t-shirts in London, but like, what the fuck with that? Just shop. The staff are horrible. Do you know what I mean? Like I remember having like conversations with people, and that's like how long ago?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like there were people that understood it, and there was like sort of like a group of people that were all wearing like Supreme, and like it was like a mutual respect kind of thing. But now like everyone's wearing it. It's like everyone that wore Supreme isn't wearing it. Like I have distanced myself from it completely. Do you mean like I have? Everything, like not everything, but I have a lot of stuff, like a lot of rare stuff. And you go on all the forums and like on Facebook, there's like, Supreme Talk Worldwide, or what it's called, Suck Talk, and people are selling like these t-shirts for like a £30 t-shirt for like £500. It's like, I just don't.
It's mad.
It's
the money that's getting thrown about, and like Supreme have just done like a Louis Vuitton thing. Like, I could never have envisioned that like 10 years ago. Like Supreme did a Louis Vuitton rip-off t-shirt that they got like a cease and desist for. Do you know what I mean? And they were going to like ruin them. And now they've done like a collaboration with like it's gone full circle. It's gone from them being like ripping it off to now being like working together.
Them, yeah.
It's like, I don't know. Like I always enjoyed the fact no one else had the stuff. So I think like my own taste like completely.
Just the access, just with everyone else. Like the access to the clothing it's not unique anymore.
Yeah.
More, like relatively, because there's obviously there's always going to be little shops about that sell, even make their own clothes, or get people to make it for them. And it's, to be honest, it seems to be it's driven Kanye mad.
Yeah. It's a tough business.
It's a tough business.
Yeah, like Kanye at the best times dresses like he's homeless.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But to dress that well to be homeless is like,
it's always the richest people.
Yeah, most people like like a couple of months' wages.
Yeah.
To look that homeless.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
flip flops and all that.
But it is totally achievable. Do you know what I mean? Like to like people every day, but I don't think people are necessarily like tuned into the fact that they can like
do it on their budget.
Yeah, like you can totally do it on your own budget. Do you know what I mean? Like I can't afford Yeezy season 1, 2, 3, 4, any of it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to pay like £500 for a t-shirt.
Yeah.
You mean for a camouflage t-shirt? Like, and all the Kanye, all his own branded stuff isn't heavily branded.
Does that?
It's plain.
Does this stuff sell though? Are people out there actually?
I think to an extent, but like a lot of these brands work on like influencers. Mm-hmm. So it's like an Instagram influencer, so someone that's popular on Instagram. So like sort of fashion guy will get like a box of free stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like it was the same when I had the shop. Do you know what I mean? Like people, like the brands are willing to give you stuff for the exposure.
Yeah, yeah.
If that makes sense. Like no famous people pay for their clothes. You mean like it's all given to them? Yeah. Like it's one of these things like you ultimately get all this money where you can afford everything you want, but you don't need to spend it
because you get it given to you.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, and if these people want you to wear their brand, like Kanye West put a pair of shoes out, like this Yeezy Boost 700s, and it essentially looks like something your granddad would have worn. Do you know what I mean? It's like a mix between like a Skechers, a high tech, and like a running shoe.
Like, I did see those ones actually. Right?
Yeah. But like everyone, you mean like something that no one else, people would touch now. Everybody, like all these people want them. Do you know what I mean? Like like the Yeezys. Do you know what I mean? Like
the Yeezy movement is mad.
The Yeezy, he's just he's completely
like
just done
the
something.
shoe like with Adidas is like super comfortable.
Yeah.
And they're like £160, but
is the Adidas ones better than the Nike ones in your opinion?
I have never been able to like physically touch a pair of the Nike ones.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know anyone I've never come across anyone that's got them, and anyone that does is they're not legit.
Yeah.
It's like the amount of people I've had like seen like those Air Mags from Back to the Future.
Ones.
I've seen people in Asda wearing them. Do you know what I mean? Wearing you mean like come on, like there's Tiny Tempa paid like 10 grand or something like at auction for them. Like
there was like replica ones brought out, I think a couple of years ago for like 80 quid.
Yeah, but
they were all gone immediately.
Yeah. It's like at one point like people were coming in like I remember when I was in Foot Locker, people would come in with like SpongeBob SquarePants Jordans. They were like laser printed, like on it, like and they'd be like, oh yeah, like one of a kind. You'd be like, they're not. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they're totally not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The people and like
same thing. Like when I used to remember in high school having like like Burberry like Timberlands and stuff like that. You know, like the
it was like Louis Vuitton Timberland, the white leather ones.
Stuff like that. Yeah. Mad.
That's a good place to.
So we've hit the longest episode yet. What's this? About an hour and a half.
Yep.
Thank you.
So before we do jump into the next one, and go for the Lord of the Rings moment, just quickly, if there, the brand does, make an appearance, if there's any news on it, let us know.
Is she pitching for free stuff already? He's just been talking about, the richer you get, the less money to spend. You're just trying to get in there early. That's
maybe,
it.
Yeah, maybe. I'm still trying to get a broad beard sponsorship as well. But no, honestly, thank you for
I
appreciate it. This was really good.
Been really
anything
good
about wrestling, trainers, hip hop.
Yeah, no,
it works for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Favourite things to talk
the
about.
The only thing I missed out was PS4.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
that's my life in a podcast.
But again, thank you for tuning in.
This was episode 3 of season 2.
Episode 3, season 2. Again, drop a like, share, comment, let everyone know about the show. We're trying to build the audience, and we've got guys like this on. The stories, they're just going to get better. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Cheers to you guys.
It's easy, easy as that.
Yeah, easy as that.
No long-winded stories, no 14-minute outros.
Yeah,
we're just done here.
Episode 3.
Appreciate this one. This was good. I actually enjoyed it. Got a lot of cool stories.
You're doing the Lord of the Rings now.
I'm taking the piss. But nah, that's us. Peace.
See you.